All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our podcast, Two Sisters, a Different Point of View. I'm your host, Nikki, and I am joined by my sister and co host.
Angela Muhammad. Family and friends call me Angie.
This is a show where we talk about any and everything under the sun. And today, I guess we can start off by talking about how this is the first episode, but technically, the first episode was supposed to be last week. But somebody, I'm not going to name any names, wanted to play a whole video of New Edition in the background.
Who was that, Nikki?
I don't know who that was, Angie. But anyway, that episode we couldn't get that one up. So this will be officially episode number 1. And I still want to talk about the new show by with Queen Latifah in it. I don't
Hmm.
know. Is she executive producer or anything, or is she just in it?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know if she's the executive producer, but she might have um producing credit.
Mhm. Yeah. But anyway, it's called The Equalizer, and you watched the first episode, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I watched that one, and I watched the second one too. You got to watch. You didn't watch the second one.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, you got to watch that one because well, we can talk about the first one first. But I thought the first one was pretty good. It drew me in. I liked it. I like her playing that kind of character. Uh,
Hmm.
it seemed like she played that kind of character in a show called Star that my daughter Akila used to watch, and she kind of got me into it a little bit. I thought it was a little out there,
Hmm.
but it seemed like Queen Latifah played the same kind of role in that one. But I liked the show. How did you feel about it?
It was okay. It wasn't bad. Um, when I first heard about it, it didn't seem like she would be believable
Mhm.
as the equalizer, and I know I'm basing it off the movie with Denzel Washington,
Yeah,
because in that movie Denzel is like
I don't think
he was a
anybody can
killer.
touch that one.
Huh?
I don't think anybody can touch that one.
Because he was a killer, I mean, a special agent killer, but a killer nonetheless. And it was like an action packed film, and I couldn't see her playing that kind of role, because I know it's TV and I know they can't show as much as they did in the movies, of course, but it still seemed like it would be like an action packed kind of TV show. And I didn't think she was going to be believable, but when I watched it, it was okay. I was like, okay, I could watch this. I
Mhm.
don't know if I would be like, oh man, I got to be sure to watch the next episode because I missed the next episode.
Right.
But I could see myself watching it when I remember when it comes on and stuff like that. And you had said in the first um the first technical, um not technical, but the
Episode?
first episode
Uh-huh.
that we did, you said that it was predictable.
Oh yeah, yeah, it was
Definitely.
predictable.
Yeah, and I could definitely see that it was predictable.
Yeah.
One character in there, that guy who's a detective, and by the end of the first episode, it was like, okay, it's like he's gonna try to find out who Queen Latifah is.
Yep. It was more of that in the second one. Yep.
Okay. And remember, I said that it reminded me of that TV show that Taraji was in
Yeah.
called Person of Interest, where she the one played the detective, and there was a white guy who was like the ex special agent and stuff, helping people, and she was trying to find out who he was. So, and it kind of gave me that kind of vibe a little bit.
And you had said your husband Anthony had mentioned that the detective in the show was trying to act like Denzel or something like that.
Yeah, it did seem like the way he talked, and it's a certain way, Denzel, the way he talks, and
Yeah,
that guy was kind of trying to
right. But
talk like that.
I
Hmm.
didn't see it I didn't think that when I was watching it, but when you mentioned it, then I was like, yeah. That's how you know they probably wanted Denzel, but probably couldn't afford Denzel.
Right,
So they told him to act like Denzel.
right. They probably told him to act like Denzel. Give me more Denzel.
Mhm. Do it like you
Yeah.
know Denzel would do it.
So
But
I will watch the second one though.
yeah, you gotta watch it. Um,
Was it better than the first one?
child, no.
What?
I don't want to tell you, but I was a little disappointed in the second one.
Really?
I had
Oh,
hopes up high, but it was a little
oh,
let down. But I'm still gonna watch it though.
okay. I'll
Oh,
probably get to it. If not today, hopefully tomorrow or definitely by the weekend.
yeah. Oh, another show that you could watch. Did you ever watch Snowfall?
Mm-mm, I didn't.
I like that, Angie.
I
That's
think I watched one episode and it just didn't grab me.
it didn't grab me at first. I think Essence had told me about it. By the time she told me about it, I think they were on what's the last season? I think the third season coming up. So they probably was already on the whichever was the last season they did. They were already on that when I started watching it. So I
So
did.
it still comes on.
It's about to start coming on. That's why I was going to tell you you got to watch it because the next season is starting on the 24th.
And what's the name of it again?
Snowfall.
Okay. Is that show supposed to like take place in the 70s or something?
Mm-hmm.
I think my friend Paris had auditioned for that. Is
Oh,
that John Singleton's show?
I don't know. Let me Google it real quick.
Because if that's the show John Singleton was doing, I think Paris. So I take that back. I was thinking of something different when you said Snowfall. That's
Um,
not the show Queen Latifah was in, though, right?
no, no, I don't think she was in Snowfall.
Okay, I was thinking of the show she was in that you had mentioned before. That's
What show?
the one you said that she played that same kind of character.
Oh, Star.
Yeah, that's the show I was thinking about. But Snowfall, no, I haven't watched that one.
Yeah, Snowfall. It says it's 1983 and the crack cocaine epidemic is in its infancy in Los Angeles. Ambitious Lucia, the daughter of a Mexican crime lord who sells marijuana throughout the city, sees the burgeoning cocaine business as a potential moneymaker. So she manipulates her family into entering the more dangerous and profitable territory than pot. Getting involved with the new drug is setting her on a violent collision course with the likes of Franklin. That's who is mainly about this character named Franklin, a young
Mhm.
street entrepreneur on a quest for power, and former Mexican wrestler Gustavo, who is caught up in a power struggle within a crime family. Also getting involved in the cocaine trade is CIA operative Teddy, who is running from a dark past and begins an off book operation to fund Nicaraguan Contras. Yeah, mostly it's about Franklin, but it did have some parts I didn't really understand. Where I guess where they were bringing in those other people, the Mexican crime lord and all these people, but I guess Franklin kind of gets entangled with them. That's how
Mhm.
he
Oh,
kind of.
see if John Singleton was over that.
Oh yeah, that's what I was supposed to be looking at, huh? Let's see. This says executive producer is Dave Andron. Oh wait, writers. John Singleton is a writer.
Okay.
He's one of
I
the.
thought he had something to do with that show. Okay. So I kind of remember seeing like the commercials and stuff for it.
Mhm.
And like I said, Paris, I think she had auditioned for it one time when it was first coming out. And Queen Latifah is an executive producer for The Equalizer.
Oh, okay. I knew she probably had something to do with it.
Mhm.
That just makes
So
sense.
she getting paid.
Yeah, that's good. Let's see what else I got for us to talk about.
You know what show I want you to watch, but you're like 3 seasons. 3 or 4 seasons behind. The
What?
Blacklist.
Who?
It's called The Blacklist. It comes on NBC on Fridays.
What's that one about?
It originally started coming on, I want to say Mondays maybe, and then they changed it to Friday. But it's about this lady who's an FBI agent,
Mhm.
and um, this guy who was on the blacklist is like the FBI's top 10 like criminals
Mhm.
or whatever number that is. So it's not just the FBI most wanted, it's like the most wanted.
Okay.
And they call this the blacklist.
Wow.
So he comes into the FBI office and said that he wants to help them like catch these criminals on the blacklist. And mind you, he's a criminal himself, but
Mhm.
he said that he will only work with this one lady who's a special agent. I think at that time she was kind of new on the job. So it kind of just follows them, helping them catch different criminals every week. And then now it's to a point where the story has kind of shifted a little bit.
Mhm.
And now she's kind of a criminal, but you have to watch. I don't want to say too much because if you decide to watch it, I don't want to give it
How
away.
many seasons have they done?
I want to say three,
Okay.
3 or 4.
I might binge watch it.
Yeah.
This is one show I was watching. I don't know if you I can't even remember the name of it because it's like I want to finish it, but I don't even remember what it was called. But it was about this man, he's married with children, and it's like he goes to work one day and the bad guys are there to, I think there was a snitch or something in the operation. And so they end up killing everybody but him. And so
Mm.
now he's like on the run with his family. He promises them that he can do something, maybe pay them back or something. And so he's like on the run with his family, and they end up going, I don't know, everywhere. And of course, the people following them. It started off kind of good, but then it got long. Like, how long is this storyline? When does it end? But I still wanted to finish it just to say, because people were saying how good it was. So I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to finish it. You don't know what I'm talking about?
Mm-mm.
Okay. I was hoping maybe you could tell me so I could go look at it and finish it.
But you could probably do a Google search, just type in like TV show about some of the stuff you just said, and sometimes Google will find it. Because
Yeah.
I know sometimes I couldn't remember the name of a movie or whatever,
But
and
that's
I'll put
great.
what it's
It's
about.
so redundant. It might pull up everything. But
Yeah.
I'll try that. All right. I found one of my um, little articles. It's just about this new parking clamp thing that they starting to do. You park downtown, you don't feed the meter or whatever, you get a ticket.
Mhm. Mhm.
They, instead of putting a boot on your car, they have this new thing. They call it the barnacle, where it's just a big yellow square thing that goes on your windshield. It suctions on there. And for here locally, the cost is $400.
What?
$400, but you get 200 of that back when you return the barnacle thing. I'm gonna see if I could. I don't know if you can. Oh, can you see it? That's the barnacle. It's just sitting on the windshield.
That.
But they know they be thinking of some ways to get people money. Four hundred
I'm
dollars.
surprised DC haven't come up with that yet.
That's what I was thinking. But then I read about some students at the University of Oklahoma who found a way to, I guess, get around it. Their fee was only 185, which I don't know. I feel like if you park in on campus, that should parking should be included because you already paying to go to school. So if you're
Mm.
parking on campus, let's just why isn't that included in the price? But they had found a way to get around the fee. I'm not really sure how, and I don't feel like reading the article, but I just thought that was interesting. This new thing, $400 just stumped me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
even though you
That's
get 200
crazy.
back, how you we in a pandemic? How people don't have $400 to just be paying. First of all, I
Mm-hmm.
gotta find that just so they can get their 200 back. Why it just can't be 200? Which that's still too much because to park probably only costs a couple dollars.
And then how long would it take for them to send you your 200?
Exactly. Hmm.
That's crazy. And I agree with you too about parking being included with college tuition. I've never even thought about that, but that's a good point.
Yeah.
Cause I didn't have a car when when I was in school, so I ain't think about it.
Oh, I got to the part how they got around it. It says all you have to do is run your vehicle's windshield defroster for 15 minutes and then use a credit card or a similar thin piece of plastic to release the suction cup around the edge. And then presto, you're free from fees. I don't see how that would free you from the fees, but okay.
Cause I'm sure they got a record of
Right.
what cars they got that thing
Exactly.
on.
Like they didn't look at the license plate or anything
Right. And take a picture.
and got away with it for now. But
Hmm. And then it's like, how they even come to think of that? You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
well, people funny because it's like you use all your brain power to come up with a way to take that thing off.
Mhm. So they never, with the boot, people couldn't get that off at all.
I thought I heard of some people getting it off,
I thought I
but
did.
yeah,
I'm sure somebody know how to get the.
hmm, I'm sure.
All right, another article I have found. This one makes me mad. I just don't understand. It's body camera video. 6-year-old girl cries, screams for help as Orlando police arrest her at school. I get so sick of hearing about these police officers arresting babies. A
Mhm.
little 6-year-old girl.
What what was she quote unquote arrested for? And then why would they even call the police?
Exactly. It's the article says that earlier in the day she had had a tantrum where she kicked, and hit a staff member. At the time that she was arrested, it says she was sitting listening to a school employee read her a story. So she
Mm.
had calmed down.
And she's 6. You're a grown person. You can't handle a 6-year-old child.
And even if you can't, at that time, okay, she calmed down. Now's the perfect time to call her parents and tell them to come get their child. You gonna call the police?
Right.
But then
But
it's
you know,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
You go ahead.
I had read an article, I can't remember like the details of it, but they in the article and they were mainly talking about little black boys or boys of color.
Hmm.
And they were saying they were talking about somebody who was 12 at the time, and I think the police had got called on the little boy or something. And they say that they don't look at our children as being children, you
Right,
know. At a certain age, they look at them, I guess, like they an adult or a thing, you know, not like a little innocent child, like how they are, you know. So that's why it's easier for them to do things like that to our children because they
right.
don't look at them as children.
Exactly. I know, which is so sad and make you mad all at the same time.
Hmm. And
And
then a girl on top of that. I mean, come on,
right, I mean,
6-year-old girl,
is she an Amazon? I mean,
right?
but the police that arrested her, it says he told them he had arrested 6,000 people in his career. The youngest to that point was 7. And when the school employees told him that the little girl was 6, not 8, like he thought. So I guess he thought she was 8. He did not seem concerned. He said,
Mm,
now she has broken the record.
wow.
Just,
And
ugh.
were the teachers white that called the police?
They're not showing their pictures, so I'm sure they were.
Man, oh boy. I hope her parents sue too.
Mhm. She was begging, please give me a second chance.
That's crazy. That shouldn't even be legal.
I know. An employee did ask if the restraints were necessary.
So he had restraints on her?
Hmm. Yeah. Put the little girl in cuffs. And when they asked him that if the restraints were necessary, he just said yes. But he said if she was bigger, she would have been wearing regular handcuffs. So I don't know. I guess they have child size handcuffs. I don't know. But that's just crazy.
It
I'm
is.
tired of reading about stuff like that.
Yeah.
All right, let me find some good news. I think I had something good. Oh yeah. Did you read about the two black sanitation workers who saved a 10-year-old that was kidnapped?
Mm-mm.
Hmm. This
What's
happened,
that story?
this happened in Louisiana. It says they are being held as heroes for saving a 10-year-old girl who had been abducted from a family member's home. She had been abducted. She had gone missing from a family member's home Sunday. Um, they believed she was in imminent danger. There was an Amber Alert. And then these two sanitation workers, Dion Merrick and Brandon Antoine, it says they knew something was amiss when they spotted a silver sedan in the middle of a field about
Mm.
3 miles away in St. Martin Parish while on their trash pickup route on Monday morning. So they then used the garbage truck to block the car from escaping and called police. They blocked the truck in, making sure that the person couldn't get out.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just says a responding officer commended the men for their actions. And the little girl was safe.
That's good. That is good news.
Yeah, that's what show they picture. That's them.
Oh, I see him.
Yeah, that was good news.
Mm-hmm.
Any good news to share
Me,
or something interesting you want to talk about?
my birthday was Sunday.
Oh yeah, a Valentine birthday.
Yeah. So my husband has no excuse.
Right, you got to remember that.
Yeah. He get all kind of reminders.
Right.
Me.
Did you do anything special?
Well, I mean, not really. We because it's a pandemic, and then I think it was a ice storm that day. So we're gonna plan something later. Usually around this time, we'll be getting ready for the Nation of Islam Savior's Day convention,
Mhm.
which is a yearly international convention that we have in
Really?
Chicago, which is our headquarters. It's next weekend. Oh no, I'm sorry.
You're having it?
Yeah, it's next weekend.
They're
Well,
still.
it's gonna be virtual.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So it's kind of like my birthday gift be kind of tied up in that because then when we go, he'll usually buy me an outfit or whatever I want at Savior's Day. So we kind of got to put it on hold a little bit. And plus, everything closed. You can't
Right.
go anywhere.
Well, actually, here there's stuff is back open here, in restaurants and stuff.
Mm,
I wouldn't. I don't be going to them.
yeah.
Mm.
I mean, restaurants are open. I know that you can go in, but I can't remember if you could sit down in there because I know they had opened it, then they closed them back down where you couldn't sit in there and eat. So I have to check and see if they're open again for you to sit down. But I'm like you, I wouldn't be going in there to sit. I said we can go buy some food and bring it back home.
Right. And I guess like in my case, if I wanted to, get away from the children, I would probably even just sit and eat it in the car. That would be
I
the
was just thinking that. Yeah, yeah.
I was
So,
gonna say something. Oh yeah, Planet Fitness. I went ahead and canceled my membership because I don't know when I feel comfortable, going back in there. And you have
mm,
to wear your mask when you work out too.
mm-hmm,
I just happened to be talking to somebody else who is a member at Planet Fitness as well, and I asked that person if they still make you wear the mask, and he said yes. And they sent an email saying that they may even start making you wear two masks.
well,
Because I don't know if you saw, I don't know, this was put out by somebody, like the CDC or somebody, but they're not recommending that you wear two masks instead of
mm-hmm,
one.
mm-hmm.
I'm like, that's the only thing they could come up with that, to improve things is two masks. That's all y'all got.
Along with the vaccine too, Nikki.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess we're all
Yeah,
safe now.
right. You gotta take the vaccine and still wear two masks.
But he told me that, I was like, yeah, I might as
I
well.
think I might go ahead and cancel my membership too, because I have a membership as well.
Yeah, because I think this probably going to be going on for a while.
Yeah. And then even if they act like things back to normal, because I was asking my Anthony, my husband, I said, how would things like just automatically go back? Like, is it gonna be like tomorrow? They say, okay, COVID-19 is over, and that's it. You know what I mean?
I
The
think
pandemic over, y'all.
Right. I think we should normalize wearing a mask if you got a cold. You know what I mean? Because people be saying, "Oh, it's just a cold. That ain't nothing."
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be around nobody sick. I don't even like to be around my own children when they sick. So I'll be like, "Go to your room. Don't come in here."
Mm-hmm.
So I think we should normalize wearing a mask because I don't. It don't bother me. It make me feel better. But yeah.
I think along with that, still keep the social distancing in
Yeah,
place because I don't want you all up on me anyway.
right. Get back. Shoot.
Right, I don't know where you been, who you been with. And I was talking to Asad, my son, Asad, and he was saying how, because I said it's kind of scary because when certain people come down with COVID and they might do some of the same things that you do, and I'm like, how do they just catch it? And not that I want to catch it, but I'm like, what is it that have them catch it? He said that sometimes he think people might, how did he put it, um, carelessly let their guard down because they might not be used to doing things a certain way. Of course, you're not used to wearing a mask all the time over your nose and all that. And so they might just one day just have a mask down and then that's the day they catch it. So they don't purposely try to do things.
I hate when I see people out in the store and stuff with their mask up.
Mhm.
It's like,
Yeah,
take it off.
that's what Asad said. Because now they saying you could catch, well, I guess not now, but you can catch COVID just breathing or, from the air and stuff. So it's scary, but we have to be diligent.
Yeah. We also
Mhm.
need to normalize washing hands frequently.
Yes. Oh, yeah. That's what I was gonna say too. Because when we were talking about it, and he said, um, if you like, you could go behind somebody, not us, but just in general, and you touch the door handle. and somebody might have just walked out and not washed their hands. I said, it's funny because I said, black people don't do that. I said, black people, we learn from birth, don't touch the door. And that's just something that we always learned how to do. Yeah. 'Cause I said, Mama didn't play that. She wouldn't have us touching the door handle.
How Kim is too. Kim don't even like to sit in a seat, that's out in public without wiping it off. And she was
Mm.
like that pre-COVID. So
Yeah, I think black people in general, we kind of, at least, those kind of things
yeah.
we diligent about. I don't even like touching like the doors in public with my clothes.
Right.
Sometimes you don't have a glove, and so you kind of put your shirt over your hand so you can pull the door. I don't even like doing that.
Right. And I had took the children to the dentist. Was that yesterday, I think? Yeah, yesterday. I took them all to the dentist. Zobia, the 5-year-old. I gave them a little talk before we went in. Don't touch nothing. We used the hand sanitizer.
Mama talk.
Right. Then when we left, we used hand sanitizer again.
Hmm.
Once we got in the car, she got her finger. No, it was even before then. The dentist had taken her to get her x-rays. And when she came back from that, girl had her finger in her mouth. I'm like, girl, get your finger.
What?
Like, so I guess she's still at that age where she putting her hands in her mouth. I'll be glad when she get past that.
And see, that's why I don't understand why some schools are opening and letting children, come to school because they do things like that.
Right. And they say children can handle COVID better, but they still coming home to adults. You know what I mean? Who they can spread it to, who maybe they
Right.
can't.
Right. And
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to take no chance of my child getting it, whether they could handle it or not.
exactly.
If I want my child to have the flu or a cold, why I want them to have COVID?
Exactly. Yep.
That's crazy. So,
Well,
anywho,
so before we end, did you do your homework?
my homework.
I didn't tell you it was your homework, but it was your homework.
No, you didn't.
um,
What to do a Black History fact? Just real quick, I was looking at something interesting, and I want to do more research on this. But and I had heard about this lady a long time ago, a while ago, and I just happened to run across her interview on Oprah, and she had wrote this book called White Like Me, and it was about her mother who was passing as white. Her mother, yeah, her mother was black. She had just found out her mother was black, and she was passing as white, and she was grown, and her mother was old. Hmm.
she thought she was white her whole life.
Right. And her mother never talked about her I think she knew her mother's her mother's mother, her grandmother, but she didn't know who her mother never talked about her father. So her mother, which is the lady who wrote the book, her grandmother, she was mixed. So she probably looked white too. And her father was black. And her mother never talked about her father, right? So she said she wanted to just do some research, and her mother was real vague. She didn't want to visit her family because I think she was from New Orleans or something, and they lived in Ohio. She would never want to go visit and said, I just don't want to. Um, it's too painful. I think that's what she had said. Her mother had said. So she said that she had wrote Louisiana to get her mother's birth certificate. She acted like she was her mother, and when it came back, it said colored by her name. So she called the state to find out what that meant. No, it had like CLR, whatever the abbreviation that they use, and they say it means colored. And so she had looked up like some census records and stuff because she knew her grandfather's name. So
Mhm.
when she looked it up on the census, they would have Negro or B for Black. So they had B by his name. And so she confronted her mother about it. And so Oprah said, how did you do it? And she said, well, I had to go visit her. She said, it's not something you talk about over the phone. So I guess she had moved away by that time. So she went and talked to her mother. Her mother denied it at first, and then finally she admitted that she was her father was black, and she had been passing for white all this time. And so she said, told her daughter, made her daughter promise not to say anything until after she was dead, because she didn't want to her friends and people she knew and stuff to know. Girl, I was like, that was something.
Situation, would
Huh?
you were in that situation, would you say something anyway?
Um, I probably wouldn't.
You wouldn't.
Probably would still try to find the family members, but as far as making it like a public, coming out and saying it and stuff like that, I probably wouldn't do that.
I must be
But
because I would.
huh,
I must be petty because I would.
you would let her friends and stuff know.
Yeah, I probably. I don't think I would like just call them up personally and be like, "Did you know? My mama is black." But I probably, we on Facebook and everything. I'll make a post, y'all. I just found out I'm black.
But see, and she's older than us too, Nikki. So that probably play a part in it. She probably don't even know what Facebook is. And then she white. So
But she
I
not.
think that would be different because I probably would want to.
Yeah. But then I guess probably growing up thinking you white, I don't know, because being black, you see it as the good thing that it is, but maybe
Right,
not black, yeah,
right.
that
And
way.
she, right. And she said that when she went in as a white woman and then she came out not knowing what she was, which I thought that was interesting. Of course, she looked white, because her mother was what, 1/3 black, I guess, if her mother was mixed. So, and then she married a white woman, I mean, a white man. So, of course, the daughter looked white, but her son, which I didn't see him, but they showed a picture. She said he had an olive complexion, and her mother used to always say that he was her favorite. He was her favorite because the daughter looked, she looked white, and then her son had like this olive complexion. But she said that her mother had like quirks and stuff when she was growing up. And looking back, she see why, but she said she just at the time she was like, "Oh, that's my mother." She said she would wear gloves and wear like big hats. She wouldn't be in the sun, and
Uh,
that's probably because she didn't want to tan. And then she said she would wear makeup to bed, and so she would ask her mother, "Why you wear?" She would wear like light foundation, and she would say, "Well, why are you wearing that to bed?" And her mother used to say, "Well, if I ever have to go to the hospital, you always want to make sure you look nice."
like how we
I said,
never have holes in your underwear.
"Well,
Just
that sounds like my mama." That must be a black thing. But she probably was wearing that makeup so she could continue that facade of making sure she looked white or whatever. And she said that her father was bigot, and I thought it was interesting because Oprah said, and her mother knew that.
Mhm.
So Oprah said, "Well, how did she handle that?" And she said she think her father, because growing up at that time, which is still bigoted people now, but I guess even more so during the 50s and 60s, and she said that he would make racial slurs and stuff like that. And her mother would just say, you shouldn't talk like that, or make fun of people, whatever she would say. But she would never say, of course, I'm black, don't. But she would try in her own way. So then she was on Oprah, and so then they had the black side of the family be on Oprah. And I think this was the first time that they had seen each other, but I think they had communicated, one of his daughters. So I guess that would have been her mother's sister, because he had a whole separate family. So these set of children were a little younger
Mhm.
than her mother. So I was like, man, she's the black lady. She was like, when she first heard that he had like a white child and stuff like that, or a daughter that was passing, and she was like, "Daddy, what have you done?"
You said this is a book?
It was a book, Black, White Like Me.
Hmm,
I kind of wanted. I think I might have seen the book in a bookstore one time, and I was flipping through the pictures.
that's interesting.
Yeah, it is, and it's funny because I always wanted to do a movie, because I'm a filmmaker. I always wanted to do a movie about somebody passing
Hmm.
as white.
Weren't you working on something about that?
I might have started like writing something. I think I did start writing something, but I never
Yeah.
finished it. So I'm gonna have to go back and revisit that because it's a reason why it came across my
Right.
timeline. So maybe it's time for me to just start
Right.
finishing it. Because that whole concept is interesting to me because I wonder if it's still people passing today. Because when you hear about people passing as white, it's like during slavery or Jim Crow.
What's her name? Rachel Dolezal or whatever her name is.
Yeah, she was passing as black.
Oh yeah. She did it backwards.
Because I even when I was doing some research on it, and I know we gotta um, wrap up,
Are you good?
but I read about this one lady had said that somebody in her family, because it's like a lot of oral history that be passed down and stories and stuff, and she had heard about this lady. Um, her mother wanted her to pass as white because she felt that her daughter would have a better opportunity and stuff being white. So she forced her daughter to go and, live as a white woman somewhere else. And then I think, years later, years gone by, her father died. And so her mother called her up, telling her that her father died. And she was like, she didn't go to the funeral because she's like, by now, I'm a white woman. I can't be, with my black family. So she
Um,
go to
coulda,
the
woulda,
funeral.
nobody would have known who she was.
Well, of course, the black people probably would have known, but I guess it would have opened up too many doors too, because then, you know, but I thought that was interesting because you think about they have to turn their back on their family and then they probably have to make sure they live somewhere else so nobody would cross paths with them, and it just seemed like it'd be too much of a burden
Yeah.
looking over your shoulder, making sure.
Like, what year was this? You remember?
um well, I think the Oprah episode might have been the early 2000s, or it was before Oprah's show, before she stopped producing her show, so maybe late 90s or something.
Oh,
But the book is called White Like Me.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
check that
So
out.
that could be a Black History fact, I guess.
Oh,
You said no.
I said, I suppose
Well,
I could
no.
find some because I always it be stuff on Instagram. I'll be looking at. Let's see. I found one. I don't know if it's good. I haven't read it, but let's see.
Oh, okay.
It says we are all held accountable to the universe for everything we think, say, and do. The energy of dominant thoughts and words creates the conditions in our lives. That's a good
That
one.
is good. Because just like you could think negative thoughts, you could think positive thoughts,
Yeah,
and that help bring positivity to your life.
right.
So that's a good one.
Manifestation.
Huh?
It's just like manifestation.
Yeah.
Down and stuff and speaking it into the universe and
Yeah. And you're responsible for your own energy. Yeah. So that's a good one. So that's a good note because then you could, we make sure, tell people think positive. That's what I tell my children.
yeah,
Always think positive.
Yeah, I tell them that too, and I try to do it too.
Yeah, me too.
So thank you everyone for watching our show. I've been Nikki.
And I'm Angie.
We will see you guys next week.